Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from coast to coast, north to south, welcome to the seventh inning stretch. I'm Josh Edwards, and here's tonight's host, Darren from the Fat Boy Fadeaway.
Josh Edwards, nobody does it better than you on the seventh inning stretch here. Glad to be with you, ladies and gentlemen. Here, we're getting to July. We're getting to the prime time part of baseball here. Starting to really heat up here. Second half right around the corner. We're past the halfway point. I got Josh, of course, with me, Josh Edwards here, and I got John joining us from Out of Your Falcon Mind podcast. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight? John, start with you. How you doing here?
And I'm great, dude. I'm back on the show. I love doing this show with you guys, man. It's the first time I've been on with Josh in forever. And dude, have you ever umpired, Josh? Because if you haven't, dude, like,
So
telling you.
no, I haven't. But I live in a very small town now in the middle of Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the guys at work, his son runs the umps for the town, and apparently they're looking for umps for next season.
go.
So I was
Dude,
like,
jump on that shit.
I think it'd be fun. Give it a shot.
I'm out here
Absolutely.
coaching. Refs out here, basketball refs out here are making almost $100 a high school game. That's how much they're making a high school
I believe it.
It's insane out here.
Every week at my son's games, there's like a shortage on umps too, and they pay well.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of umps don't want to deal with the parents, so like they just
Oh, I'll
at
just
least-
let the parents out.
That call right there. Right?
That's perfect.
You're out of here.
Yeah.
He might get a call. He might
Yeah,
get a
man, you
call.
got to have them on a short leash. Exactly. Yeah.
You make an example really early in your career that the leash is short. You just make sure you throw somebody out early, and maybe you gotta do it one more time before they get the message.
We had a great ump, and when we went to Cooperstown, the guy, he was an older guy, came over. He's like, "Look," he goes, "y'all can get on me all game, but it better be creative. If it's not, you're getting tossed." And we're like, "All right, I like that. That's nice."
Fair enough.
So yeah,
That's good stuff. I got Tyler here tuning in here. Hello,
What up,
fellas.
Tyler?
Val Venus voice. Yeah, you got it if you know Val Venus from WWF, right? Right leg, left leg. Meet him in the holidays. You know what that means if you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about there. So
Yeah.
we're back.
Old school
Tyler.
reference right there.
I have not heard that name in like 20 some odd years.
Well, yeah, the Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. We fade away. We go to
Not a
deep
boy,
there, so
Tyler. That's
Tyler
what I'm
joining
talking
us.
about.
Tyler always doing there. John, we got a lot to get into. You got your Braves. We're going to definitely get into that. I got a good question for you there. We got Josh. We'll talk about being able to throw the ball from pitching to first baseman. That's important in baseball. Always an important ingredient. Just a little PFP every day. I mean, come on. So we'll get into that as well here. But, gentlemen, I feel like we have to start because I feel like this guy is he's the best player I've ever seen in terms of pitching, hitting, in all of baseball. I mean, like, Barry Bonds is the best hitter ever. There's not even close. So I'm not saying he's Barry Bonds, but Barry Bonds couldn't throw 98 miles per hour. I'm talking about this man right here, Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout, again, shocking. I know he goes out again with another injury. He's out for maybe 4 to 8 weeks, whatever that means. The Angels sit like right around 5-6 games out of that first place wild card situation. I mean, they're in the most unique position out of any franchise, I feel like, in the history of Major League Baseball. Like, do they trade this guy? Or do they keep him? I feel like they keep him. I feel like Ohtani has the chance to go down in the history books as the greatest run ever if he can make the champion or make the playoffs with this team and do any damage. I mean, he would just cement himself, his legacy of all time. Where do you guys feel about this, Josh Edwards? Where do you feel about Ohtani? Should the Angels, do they need to trade him at this point in the season with Trout's recent news going out here over the weekend?
I mean, I don't think there's enough there. Even with as great as Shohei Ohtani is,
Yeah.
that with Trout being out, if he's out for the full 8 weeks, I mean, they have one bad run of games. They're not going to be able to make it up. So if I'm the Angels, I know I'm going to walk away with everything I could dream of for Shohei Ohtani. And then I'm trading Shohei Ohtani, and then I'm trying to move. I hate to say it, but I would try to move Trout in the offseason.
They just signed him, though, to like a 10-year deal.
I know, but I would try to move him because you're going to get everything else you want in the world, and you can rebuild a whole new team straight up.
Yeah.
And you commit to that team that you're going to build because you got to knock it out the park.
John, what do you think about that?
Yeah, as a fan, I would love to see them keep him because I would like to see that. I'd like to see Mike Trout if he's healthy, like make a damn playoffs for once and see what Mike Trout and that team. That's not
Yeah.
the team, really just Mike Trout in the.
I guess technically he could be back for the playoffs,
It
right?
could be right. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, if I'm the president, yeah, I'm probably looking to move him and seeing what I can get for him. And I mean, yeah, what Tyler said, they're going to pay most of that Trout contract. Yeah. Um, and I would like to see him go to like a contender. Like I said, I think it's a shame that not a lot of the country has got to see a lot of Mike Trout on TV just because of where he plays and the fact he hasn't made the playoff. The team's never made the playoffs. So
And he's not like the most outgoing player of all time.
no, he's not a flashy guy or anything like that. So he's not gonna make headlines like that. He's just gonna play hell of a center field when he's healthy and not hit the ball like crazy. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see him, except for the Phillies, anywhere other than like Phillies or the Mets would be great. But yeah, outside of I can see him doing that because I mean, he does seem to pick up an injury almost every year, and at least recently. So like, why not go ahead and just start from scratch? And like, I mean, Perry Minite, the dude he was Alex Anthopoulos' right hand man here in Atlanta, who's now running the Angels. So he's been through a teardown and the rebuild. So I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way.
Tyler here also says you see him talk about the Eagles more than talk about the.
That's true. That's true.
I gotta say this is where I feel like with Ohtani is like if I'm the Angels, there is no way in blue hell I'm trading him because I'm not going down as the franchise that traded Ohtani. I'm rolling with him and I'm banking on him I'm saying, okay, I'm rolling the dice. We're making the playoffs with you and we'll see what happens. Because if you trade him, I just don't see a world where they get anything back for him that resembles what he is. I know there's like maybe this chance where 3 guys equal this run, but I don't know, man. Like if I'm the Angels, I just don't want to trade him. I'm saying I'm playing hardball with you. We're making a run with you, and I'm hoping you'll sign out with it. He came to the Angels partially because he wanted to be on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, there's only 5 teams he's going to sign with, and we know the A's aren't going to be one. So that could be reduced to 4 at that point, right? You get my point? So if that's the case, that's my thing. If I'm the Angels, I'm holding on to that a little bit. And I'm just like, how can you trade this guy? Like, I mean, you're over a game over 5. How can you give up the greatest talent ever and be like the Wilt Chamberlain of basketball? To me, you just can't do it.
Yeah, if there's hope that he comes back, then sure, maybe. If not, either way, I'm asking for a king's ransom, even if it's just for 2 months. Like, go for one of those contenders that need.
You ask for everything, huh?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And if you get it, great. If you don't, okay, I'm going to have Shohei the rest of the season. Let's make a push. Let's go get it. But if they do come out, who knows, who just name your contender, they're listening once Shohei. I mean, any team that's contending this year would, I'd imagine, love to have that guy on their team.
Absolutely.
Like in a heartbeat. It's just a matter of what they're willing to give up to do it, So there could be a team out there willing to do it. You never know. I mean, maybe Cohen wants to give him like 3 guys that he overpaid for this year. Who knows?
He might. And I saw what I see. I feel like the NL West, Tyler talked about the Asian market. It's true. That's why I wanted Yao Ming to go to the Warriors. That's why I thought with the Giants there for that reason. I think the NL West, they have like the Diamondbacks have 3 prospects in the top 20. The Dodgers have 2. The Giants have 2. I'm just saying if the Angels did want to trade him, it is kind of significant that 3 of the best prospect teams are on the West Coast as well, and they're not even in the American League. I'd be curious if those 3 teams ring a bell. The Diamondbacks seems maybe a little unrealistic to me, but I can see the Giants or Dodgers getting traded to them at the midway point. Josh?
The only argument for the Diamondbacks
go ahead.
Is if he wants to win championships and have chances. I mean, he's going to have championship opportunities with the Dodgers and the Giants too, but the Diamondbacks are set up with a ton of youth for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
It'd be very interesting him on the Diamondbacks.
I mean, throw him on there with Gallen, with Corbin Carroll, with Ketel Marte. I mean, dude. Yeah. Dude, you want to talk about him actually taking that team to the next level? Like
in the desert, hitting home runs.
Yes. I think it would be awesome.
We're supposedly The Braves are supposedly a dark horse in this whole situation.
Acuna Jr. Are you gonna trade Sean Murphy for?
No, sorry,
No.
not to trade, but like if he made it to the
If he's a
offseason, just
free
as a
agent.
sign. Right. Yeah, we're not.
I mean, John, I'm just like, it's hard. I mean, you talked about your son playing baseball before he came on. It's like, I think it's like for me, the thing with him that is like, I kind of every week try to put myself in perspective. The man leads the league in home runs. He like leads the league in home runs, and also throws like 97 and has a legit ERA as a starter and pitches every 5 days. Like, I think like and like, let's be honest, if it was a basketball, it'd be like LeBron James. He'd be out doing everything. But because it's kind of baseball, it's more of a regional sport in that regard, and he's as good as he is. It's not like it doesn't feel like the national presence it is with him. I don't know. Like, he just feels like so dominant to me. Like, I feel like we're overlooking just how great this guy is.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right because of where he plays for the most part.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the whole Trout thing. I mean, it's just
he plays in LA.
I know, but it's the Angels. If it was the Dodgers, you'd probably have a different conversation.
Exactly. It's the market. It's not just the city. It's the market.
Yeah.
You're in the exact same city, and the market for the Angels is a percentage of what the Dodgers market is.
So, Josh, do you say he gets traded or not?
I'm saying I would trade him. I don't know. I don't know if we see it happen. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
You don't think they try to trade him either? You think they hold on to him?
Yeah.
Like I said, how do you trade? I mean, how do you be the team that traded the guy that hit 30 and leads the league? I mean, like you said, unless you get a king's ransom, I don't see it. Josh, go ahead.
How do you go down in history as a team that couldn't convince the best player of this generation to stay with you?
Yeah,
at the end of his
that's the other side of it. That's it.
There's
I'd
that.
rather trade him and get something back for him.
I agree. No, that's fair.
Yeah, he walks and you get nothing.
Yeah, that would be what I would fear.
Okay, so if we're talking about them maybe not competing, then that tells me that maybe that the Rangers and Astros and the AL West are the teams that we're only thinking are going to be competitive in that division. Unless you think the Mariners, we did get 2 All-Stars snuck in there with some injuries there, Rodriguez and Kirby. They stuck a couple in there. You're telling me that basically you think it's the Astros and the Rangers. The Astros haven't been making a run lately. The Rangers did have the 4 All-Stars, John. I don't know. The Rangers have lost 8 out of 12. They're not playing as well. What do you think here? We got here real quick, though. We got your guy 95 North South.
Yes, sir, Roberto.
His whole show when he had my guy, the defensive end, Abram, on.
John Abraham,
Great job with all them talking about him. I love the defensive end talk. It was so funny to me when he asked the question about, hey, what do you think about this team compared to our team now? And John, and he looked at him like, are you crazy? Our defense is way better. It was awesome. I just thought that was great, but he did a great job. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. We'll talk a little Braves here in a few minutes here. We're just finishing up with a little Ohtani talk here. I've got Tyler composition pick as well. John, go ahead there. What you're saying there?
We'll see. You asked me about the Rangers and Astros.
Yeah.
I guess I can see the Rangers still. I think the Rangers are, halfway through the season now. They're still doing it. They still got a great offense. Evaldi's a good story this year, making a comeback, and he can. Yeah, I'm down with it. I mean, of course, the Astros are the Astros, but I can see that being a fight until the end of the season, like all the way through down to the last week type of thing. So.
Astros are a little bit on fire here, Josh.
Yeah.
It's starting to get – Altuve is out. They've put him kind of on the IL now officially. Bregman, though, I feel like he's been hitting some clutch hits along the way here. They have, to me, one of the most underrated – he's not underrated, but he just feels like he's under the radar. Alvarez all the time there. The lefty just feels dangerous. The Rangers, they're still inconsistent, right? Like you're still trying to figure out some pieces here. Money on the line. You going Astros or you going Rangers here in the second half?
Oh, money on the line. I'm sorry. I'm going Astros if there's money on the line just because of the track record.
There's always money on the line.
Okay, well then damn it, I'm going Astros.
All right, good. There's always money on the line. We're not doing.
Am I picking them straight up, or do I have it?
Next, just got to prove it first.
Who do you got, Josh? You going Bruce Bochy in those hips? What do you got?
Big ass head. Where's that?
I think
like +8 size.
I think the Rangers will be more aggressive at the trade deadline because they're going to go for it.
Yeah. They already traded for Chapman, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got him, and they got a middle reliever there with him. That he's helped. He hasn't given up a run in 3 innings, but whatever. He's better.
So I think they're going to go for it. I don't think by any
All
means
right.
they're done. But the
Ohtani go
Astros
for
are
it.
the Astros.
Ohtani go for it. Can the Rangers
No.
go into? I can see a franchise like them going all in on a guy like that, trading multiple guys. They seem like a team that overall does it. We got a guy here, but overall it isn't refreshing to see teams and gutter uplift and have good seasons. Example, the Orioles. The Orioles, yep, for sure. And the Rangers are one of those teams. They haven't really been in the fight very much recently. It's really been the Astros division from the very beginning. Hey, let's go over to the AL East though with that comment there. I here's kind of how I feel about the Rays. Like they're really good. We talked about them the whole season, Josh, but I think every week we've done it. We've kind of heard. I've heard you, even the shows I went on. You guys were talking about the Rays, or how good they are because they got off to such a great start. I've seen this with the A's before. Do they peak? Is there a world where they're peaking too soon though?
Oh, they absolutely could. That's what's fun about this team. They've been so good for so long consistently now. Have they hit the peak? Is there a peak? Are we going to see them get even better?
Yeah.
That at this point, that's what this team is for me to watch. It's just I'm not sure when it's going to fall apart, or if it's going to keep where it's at, or going to go up. I'm not sure, but they're a lot of fun to watch. They're still winning even with injury after injury after injury. It's plug and play with this team. This is why I think they're good and they're real this year, because of the plug and play situation where you've lost pitcher, player. I think they're the real deal.
Yeah, that's fair. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, they've found out they've got a formula that other teams would love to figure out. And they can scout well. They've added players that fit what they do, which is a little bit different than what everybody else does. But then they all hit, like it's like they don't do anything like amazing, but they all do everything. They do everything good. Like they're just good at like every aspect. So that's what just makes them a good club. We start a series with them tomorrow night. It'll be
a fun series.
It'll be a hell of a series to watch. And I think we've got Morton, Elder, and Strider going. So we've got our top three right now, at least our top three, going against their guys. So it's going to be
a good series right there.
Yeah.
Is it in Atlanta?
No, it's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa too, so in the dome a little bit there. You guys got
supposedly that's all three games are sold out, which would be amazing for Tampa because they average, I think, like 17 a game.
A rarity. Sell the team. Move them.
Right.
Move them. That's okay. Sorry, that's if you're an A's fan, you are sorry for that. Move the team. The Orioles, though, John, are only 5 games back. I mean, they're not that far out of the game, out of it in terms of that. Like to me, they have just one of the best young players in the game. The catcher there out of Oregon State, Addison Hutchinson. Like I don't know. He has that Buster Posey feel to him a little bit. You know what I mean? Where he's consistent. He understands what he's doing. You can tell the team believes in him completely there. And I don't know. Like I agree with the Rays. Like you said, they're going to be there the whole time. But I'm just trying to make it a little fun here too. They're to me 5 games out. The Orioles, in a series there, they sweep them, John. They're only down 2. Like they legitimately are still in this thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was kind of like iffy on the Orioles until they came to Atlanta and played us like damn good, like the entire series. And and they were impressive to watch. I mean, and they've thankfully after the years that they've had just bad baseball, they finally got some guys that can play and some pitching. And so hopefully that's I think it's good for baseball when they're a good squad. And when anytime the AL East can when it's not just the Yankees or not just the Red Sox. I know Tampa Bay, but like the 2 main popular clubs in the division, the more competitive that division is, the funner it is for baseball in general. But I mean,
Bob Manfred isn't loving the Rays or Orioles.
Oh no, not at all.
I guess he's not loving that one.
No. But I think they're for real. I don't know. They may be. I don't know if they're quite ready yet. Like this may be like a year.
Like they're maybe a year behind.
Right. Maybe a year away from just like really, really making a challenge for it. But I mean, I wouldn't be blown away if they did.
No. But man, I really love their catcher though, Josh. I mean, he's just he's one of those guys like where you just watch it, you're like, okay, the team is like. He's like the most quality point guard. Like I say, I always go back to basketball. I know this, but he's like that guy like on your team where you're just like you rely on him. He's there. He's consistent. And like we always do this even with little league debate, right? Like if you ever coach a little team in your life, You could have every position be good, but you better have a good catcher. It's important. So, like, I'm saying, like, it really is. Like, and if he can hit, I mean, my God, you give yourself an extra bonus there. And that's where I feel like the Orioles do give themselves that extra chance. And there will be interesting with the Yankees. I did find Josh an interesting quote today by Aaron Judge saying this toe injury is something it might take years, Josh, to recover from. We're talking that if it's years, that's over 700 days possibly. My God, what a toe injury we have here. Is this, you know what I mean? So, like we still have the Yankees, we still have the Blue Jays, you still have the Red Sox. And I know the Red Sox are in last place, but they're over 500 for God's sakes. So the AL East is still pretty good for the guys. You think it's the Rays or the Orioles? Do you think maybe there's a dark horse, Josh, that could sneak in there?
So I think at this point, it could be anybody but the Red Sox could sneak in. Because if the Rays and the Orioles go cold, the Yankees and the Blue Jays are – what are they? They're only 3 games behind.
Yeah, the
Baltimore.
Yankees are 8 games back, and they're right there in the wild card. They're tied for the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, the AL East is open, but I would be shocked if Tampa Bay fell apart or – like, okay, rephrase. If Tampa Bay or Baltimore doesn't get it, I'd be shocked because that's a big gap to overcome unless teams just went on huge skids.
Yeah.
And they've been so consistent thus far through the season. Sorry that was so wordy. I apologize.
I think the Blue Jays are the one team in that division where I'd be like, okay, they're in 4th place now. It feels like they have the talent to get there a little bit. They have that guy. I always can never pronounce his last name right. Alex Manoah or something like that. He got sent down to like
Manoah. Yeah.
He got lit up, gave up 11 runs there. So we'll see what happens there in the AL East there, John. There's a lot. I mean, to me, it's the best division, obviously, in baseball. We have every team over 500. You know what I mean? We're not breaking news here with it. But I do, even if you take a team like the Red Sox, 44 and 43, I mean, technically, they would be right there in the AL Central.
Well, and I mean, Tampa has lost 5 in a row, which worries me because we're playing them next 3 games. So, I mean, you don't really, I can't foresee them just losing another series or getting swept, so like that.
That's what I mean. Like there is this gap where like the Rays, like there is this world where like I saw with the A's. I remember back when they had Sonny Gray. It's like the last year they made, like they were like the best team in the first half by far. And then the A's. That's what it was. It was the year they traded Cespedes for John Lester. They fell off the freaking face of the earth the second half, and I think they made the wild card on the last day of the playoffs. So there is this world, and they're like right in it. So. I guess we'll see what happens with the Rays in the AL East there. I do find that Judge quote, though, might take years to recover. Good God.
Dude, turf toe ended Deion's career, man. Deion Sanders.
Deion, we got to go Atlanta reference there. I respect that right there at some point there. I got to like that.
I got them all in there. I got to pop in.
My guy, Doug, Hoops, House of Agenda Hero. He's a part of the Variety Sports Network here. I should say that. We are part of the Variety Sports Network here on 7th Inning Stretch. We're close to 300 subs. Our guy, Brandon, working hard over there. All of us do our shows there, Birds and Bush. Great show live last night with a throwing error involved. But with that said, we'll get to that.
You didn't throw anything or break anything when that happened, or?
I wanted to.
Yeah. It was against the Marlins. I was hoping they would lose. So I kind of wanted to as well. Too. But
did you guys see David Cruz, the Nationals guy? He checks his bat for the knob, and then he goes on and proceeds to hit a 455-foot bomb. Then does the little at third base a little bit. Just kind of your thoughts on it a little bit. I thought it was kind of fun there. I mean, I don't know. I was trying to think who I compare him to. I hate to compare players, right? Because baseball is a weird sport where like they look like the best player in the world, and the next year they fall off the face of the earth. He does have a little Machado feel to me from the left side. What do you guys think? What did you guys make, John, of this incident with the Nationals? Did you think Martinez was out of place? Was he just being a jackass in this moment, trying to be a dick? I mean, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I think he's a young kid. He's got that Acuna style of kind of flash flair to him. So I kind of like it. I mean, I don't mind it. Watching him those 3 games against Atlanta, that dude, I mean, he's fun to watch. But watching him run the bases, like 10 seconds to get freaking to third base, I mean, like it's elite speed, like just insane. The ball comes off the bat like a damn missile. I mean, like, yeah, fun to watch, man.
Dude, he has like 2 of the long, like I think like in like what has he been in the league like 3 weeks? He has like 2 of the best stat track home run speeds ever. Like,
everything leaves it bat at like 100 plus miles an hour. I mean, like he's a freak. But I mean, But the bat thing, yeah, I mean that's all fun to me. You know, I mean if
What
it
do you
was
think about that?
if it was 20 years ago, he's going to get nailed the next time. Yeah, but I mean, you know, like that's
Oh yeah,
game has changed. You know, the game has changed. You know, so but
It's
you
getting
know,
softer.
yeah,
I thought to me it's one of those fun baseball
we
moments,
got
though,
it.
Josh. Like kind of where and it is kind of weird as that plastic little like thing you don't see it very often. I thought it was kind of I do like Tyler's comparison here. He is kind of like a bigger Jose Reyes. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's massive, home runs, he's fast,
Yeah.
can do a little bit of that. He has the O'Neal Cruz. I like that comparison as well, except for I think he's a little better, maybe O'Neal.
I think he's better than O'Neal Cruz. Yeah.
Josh, what do you kind of make of it with that? Like, maybe the coaching etiquette there, like trying to get in his head a little bit, and that he's like, "F you, I'm going to home run." I posted something about, I think a few weeks ago, about when the old Orioles manager did that to Alex Rodriguez back on the Mariners, and then he ends up hitting a home run too. So it's kind of one of those fun moments in baseball that happens every once in a while, especially for a stud like this. What do you make of it?
So, you know me, I'm typically like the old man, get off my lawn. I don't like celebrations, da 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 da. But I'm perfectly okay with the manager doing what he did,
Yeah.
and I'm perfectly okay with De La Cruz flexing on him after he jacked the home run
I like it.
because he got called out first, and it was more of a mental thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mental game. Coach wanted to play the mental game. The young kid wasn't upset by it, and then he just rocked your stuff out of the stadium. I'm perfectly fine with it in that situation. I don't like guys flipping the bats when they homer because that's part of the game normal, like regular home run situation. This was, you tried to imply I was cheating to mess with me, so now I'm just going to knock it out of the park on your ass. That's fine with me. That's perfectly okay. But I don't like the showboating crap.
It's funny, man, with baseball because like it's one of the few sports that like over the years, and I know it's because of the tradition and everything, but it's one of the few sports like emotion was like bad. Like you don't want to show up the pitcher, or you don't want to, the pitcher doesn't want to show up the batter or whatever. Now it's more entertaining when they do because then it creates all the drama and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind if a pitcher strikes out, dude, and he wants to like scream and like pound his glove and walk off the mound. That's great. If he gives up a dinger the next time up, dude, you better be ready for the guy to flip and take his time around the bases too. It's like to me, it goes both ways for me. Like I don't really care as long as they, let the umps, as long as the umps don't get involved, just let the players kind of. Unless it gets way out of hand. They always
get involved. Though.
But they do. They think it's about them. And it's
don't hit that guy. That's not allowed this time.
Dude,
don't hit him in the butt cheek. That's
this is a couple of years ago. I mean, like y'all remember the Acuna and Urania thing with the Marlins?
Is he still getting pegged a lot, by the way?
Is he what?
Is he still getting pegged a lot, by the way?
Not as much, but they do pitch him, and I understand they pitch him inside because you have to. Like you have to try to bust him inside. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
But the problem is not many pitchers can control their stuff, so like they end up getting hit. But Urania just seemed like it was like he killed Urania, so every time he was up, he got hit by him. But we never retaliated, and it drove me fucking nuts, man. I wanted to sit and be like, dude, next guy needs to get drilled. Like I don't care if the bench is clear, I don't care who gets suspended. The next guy gets drilled. It never happened, and like
did Bobby Cox used to do that for the Braves?
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, no, Bobby Cox.
Good old Bobby Cox.
You were getting hammered if it was Bobby Cox. Yeah, I mean, and the thing with Bobby too is like he always had their players back. I mean, like it didn't matter if, and like there was one instance actually in Boston. If you can actually YouTube it, Eric O'Flaherty.
That's a name. I've heard that one.
He didn't get a call on something. I forgot the hell it was. He didn't get a strike call. Next pitch was like a double, run scores. Chipper starts losing his mind on the umpire, and he gets taught. Well, Bobby comes out and gets in front of him and Chipper, and they're both just going at it. But he's trying to protect Chipper. O'Flaherty's already been like it was just a mess. But you don't see that in years. I mean, a lot of that, with the reviews, you don't see, the managers fighting and stuff like that as much as you used to anymore. But like. Yeah, I do miss that part, to be honest with you. I miss them more. I miss the ejections. I miss them,
I mean, Bobby Cox was out there every game with that.
He leads he's all-time leader in ejections. Yeah. Yeah. He's got ejected more than anybody else. Yeah.
No, he was out there every game. I just thought it was funny last night with him. He hits the home run. And it shows to me more of the Reds, kind of the NL Central here, Josh, is the Reds to me are for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like at first I was a little suspect. And like, I know even a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, they have these guys. They're going to be dominant. But They seem like they have the vibe. The rest of the NL Central is not very good outside the Brewers. We'll get into your Cardinals in a second. Let me just ask you this real quick. Do you think the Brewers can give the Cardinals a run, or do you think the Reds kind of run away with this?
I would say the Reds have the best odds right now. And I'll go back to saying what I said. I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. They have an edge because they don't know what they don't know because they're all so young. That's the advantage
Joey
that
Votto's
they have.
back wearing Vikings helmets. I saw.
And Joey Votto's come back, and that's kind of the other thing they have going for them right now. So as long as they keep vibing, it's theirs to lose.
I want to not like that guy so much, but I can't not like him. Like I really like.
It's
Joey
hard
Votto.
not to.
I'm a Cardinals fan. I like him.
I still believe in the Brewers, though. I just feel like their pitching at the end of the day is the best in that division, Josh. I said it for day one. They have the 3 best pitchers in probably the whole division. So to me, it's hard not to take that. Like they have Burns if he's healthy, they have Woodruff, and they have Williams. So it's hard for me not to take them. And they're only a game back. The Reds are playing phenomenal. Like out of their mind. That would be my pushback on the Reds, and that would be my belief in the Brewers.
Did y'all have a chance to see the highlights from the Braves-Reds series? That was probably the most entertaining series I've seen all year long.
We have a little debate here going in the chat here. Tyler was talking about TBS baseball here. If you are a fan on the West Coast, TBS baseball was a big deal. Because for me, you guys are 3 hours ahead of me. So I get home from school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Braves baseball starting at 4:05. You know, the A's and Giants at 7:05. It was perfect. If they even if one played on the West Coast, you always had a game to go to. That's where TBS baseball is always the best. I did always hate the announcers for being homers. That was a big part of being anti-Braves at that point. But it's hard not to watch them at that point there with it. They're going to lose a lot of fans in the long run. We got Tyler Burger, I do too, to go. And then we got Cubs going to Marquee. The worst decision they ever made. That's true there with it. What do you think there, Josh? Though, I just think so you're all in on the Reds at this point. It sounds like.
Man, I'm not. Nah. At this moment, as information keeps coming in, all right.
You're as information proceeds. Can I give you an information proceeds and then essential? I don't want to cuss. I have 3 kids. Are the effing Cardinals done? Are they? I mean, my God, you're up by 1 run. Jordan Hicks, field and ground ball, throw it to first base. You're 1 out away. There, nails it into the first base. 1 run is in. 2 runs is in. The Cardinals lose on air live. Burns and Bush. I mean, my God. I mean, can you find a worse way to lose a baseball game? I mean,
Chip Carey. As done as done? Go ahead. Chip Carey sat there like silent for like a minute.
Yeah, so when the whole play happened, like the worst part was Jordan Walker comes up in the 9th, smacks a 2-run homer, and it's just a moonshot. So everybody gets, yes, we got this. And then Hicks, who's been lights out for all of June. I mean, he was lights out all of June.
Yep.
And he makes one of the most obscure errors you can make as a pitcher, throwing to first base. I mean, I've seen guys throw in the dirt. I've seen guys go wide, but 4 feet over Goldschmidt's head?
Yeah, I mean,
Goldschmidt's not a big dude. The Cardinals, this season is over. This season is all but over. Mathematically. Go ahead.
I saw a stat, and I didn't think it was true, but have they blown 18 saves this year?
Yes.
Is that holy
18?
shit?
18? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. I saw it earlier. I was like, that can't be right.
That is, as Marissa Tomei would say, that is dead balls accurate.
What the hell, man?
I mean, it's bad.
How many games out are they?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, they're in last place. They're 25 and
12 and a half games back. So, dude, if you don't blow if you only blow 12 of those, you're close to first place at this moment. Yeah, if you save 12 out of 18,
that's bad. Damn. And that's rough on a fan.
On fans who don't go to this, like worst season in 100 years. I mean, at this point, I just watch the games to see how they're going to lose because it's gotten that kind of interesting. But Hicks. It was on Hicks's face. He was like, "How did that just happen?"
I still
I
gotta be
mean,
the worst
nobody-
feeling in the world, man. God,
Maybe you
gosh.
should have threw it 106 miles per hour, Josh, like our guy flea market floppy disk says. Throw it
That's how it
106
usually
to
works.
first base, and maybe we would have made it there instead of throwing it there. I mean, I was thinking about you last night after that. I saw that John sent me the tweet as well after that. I was like, my God. I was like, and then you look at the score, like I said, up 1. You're not even tied. You lose it on that. What a turn of events to the
Yeah.
– I would think, I mean, like you said right there, you're thinking, okay, you're probably like, oh, the season's almost over anyways. We're getting close. But then when that happens, you're like, that's the big double finger right there. That's both fingers going up right there. This is – the season's over. Let's trade everybody in the free agents part. Let's give it all up at that point right there.
I listed 7 players last night, and then by the end of the show, I wanted to add 2 more players to the list. So
the show I was on that you weren't on, I think Darren asked a question about which manager gets fired. I said Marmol. Is Marmol gonna? What do you think? You think he's gonna make it through the whole season at this point, or is he just gonna let him go?
if he's not fired by the trade deadline, he'll be there all season.
Yeah,
But golly, we want him going.
I can imagine.
Real quick, I got to say, flea market floppy disk. Thank you for tuning in. I'm not familiar with you. I appreciate you turning into the 7th inning stretch here. Maybe John, you know him out there in Atlanta. You bring the audience with us here as well. I will say this: I am an A's fan, and I am pretty frustrated by it. It is bad. I would rather be a Cardinals fan that has made the playoffs every goddamn year, except for my team that loses. So yes, I'd rather be a Cardinals fan than an A's fan, but that's not the way I grew up there. I appreciate you tuning in, my man.
Come back to your roots, man. Come back to your TBS days. I've already told you, I'm working on this.
The
We wear an A on the hat. We're already there, brother.
I think
it would be an easy transition.
All right.
I think I would have to go Pirates.
Sean Murphy, Matt Olson. I mean, we love taking your players. It's just
stop with your all-star roster. Yeah.
You love taking all my team. You love taking the whole team from there. That's hilarious. Appreciate you guys tuned in.
Yeah, man.
Checking in on it. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, let's get to your Braves here. All right. Let's get to, and then we'll get to my question of the week here. Okay, the Braves are dominant. We know that right now. They got 58 wins. They're playing unreal baseball at this point in the season. I mean, it's hard to you can nitpick them what you want, but I know this is a team that has your favorite team is the dominant team. I might not be looking at the team that you're actually scared of. Is there, because there's pitchers, there's matchups that you might be thinking of ahead of time than me. Is there a team right now that does scare you if you did have to match up with them in a playoff series?
Dude, I mean, we'll see if it's the longevity's there, but like I was just saying, that Reds series, that was the most intense series that we've been in like this season. I think a Reds-Braves playoff series would be pretty damn entertaining to watch. I think Arizona would be a tough. I mean, I know we went there and we took 2 out of 3 in Arizona, but that was a tough matchup there. Even though the Mets have been so bad, I have a hard time like just completely counting them out, even though like I want to. Maybe that's just the Atlanta in me that doesn't, fully believe. Because we've seen there was a 116 win Mariners team years ago that didn't, like that. Regular season's one thing, postseason's an entire different thing. So I don't think any teams. I haven't seen an offense like this from the Braves in. I don't know ever.
Got to be early 2000s with Sheffield and Chipper Jones,
and I think this one's better. Like I saw, and this is courtesy of David O'Brien at the Athletic. Okay, and this is a 29 game stretch starting in with that win, that series win in Arizona. So 29 games, the team hit 309, 371 OBP, 577 slugging, and 948 OPS as a team over 29 games. Now you see teams do that in short spurts, but not typically 4 to 5 weeks. Like that's just not how baseball typically works, man. And then over that same course, 72 home runs, 195 RBIs, averaging 7 runs per game. Pitching was good enough, 3.56 ERA. Out-homered our opponents 72 to 39 and outscored 203 to 113. Just like stupid, like I mean, that's the show numbers. Like like my kid can't do that on the show. Like if he tried, I mean, it's It's crazy. I mean, and it all starts with Acuna, man. I mean, like right off the bat, you're watching. He's the leadoff hitter, and if you throw him a strike, he's going to get on. And it's just like Little League. If he's on first base, you might as well. He's going to steal second because he's already at 41 stolen bases, and he's in scoring position. He may take third, And then you've got Ozzie, then you've got Riley and Olsen and Murphy, and then the two big ones that have really, I think, turned around this stretch. Ozuna, who like every Braves fan was just waiting to wake up every morning to see if we like traded him for a bucket of balls, and it never happened, because he had off to such a terrible start. He's turned it on, and he's been playing good ball as our DH, and Arcia, dude, not one Braves fan has said, man, I really miss Dansby Swanson this year. I mean, the dude has been playing a magnificent shortstop, hitting over 300. We're paying him $2.3 million a year. Just crazy. And Michael Harris, he's our 9-hole hitter. So he got going. So now you're talking about you've got your 9-hole hitter getting on base. And you're turning the lineup over to Ronald again, and then Ozzie, and it starts all over again. There's not a spot pitchers can look for in this lineup to go like, okay, I can get this out here. Like you're immediately under pressure as a pitcher, in the games. And it's just like, it's almost like a Falcons fan. Like I hate to get too excited, because like I've been hurt so many times.
The Braves have probably crushed your soul.
Oh, dude! My soul left my body. Like in the late '90s, it was like, I mean, we should have had 3 World Series. We had one, and it was so. Then we had a rough patch there in the 2000s. But, dude, man, I mean, like it's just been so. Yeah, no team really scares me in the NL, to be honest. I mean, there's. Anything could happen in a 5-game series. But
how about your boy Freeman on the other end? The Dodgers don't scare you at all?
Not really. I mean, like they've had their own injury issues, this year, and it's. I mean, I don't know, man. The way they've been playing has me feeling maybe more confident than I need to be, but I don't know. It's just
I hear you. I would too.
Yeah,
it's 58 wins. You lead the league,
right? I mean, yeah, it's just hard not to. You see, and this is all without Max Fried and Kyle Wright, our 1 and 2 starters, and which, by the way, Max Fried starting we just
been killing my fantasy team. Get help.
He's starting a AAA assignment tomorrow. He should be back. August 1st is what we're hoping for. So then you get your true ace back if he's in good form, But they've plug and played pitchers all year long. Schuster from AAA up and down, Dylan Dodd up and down. Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder didn't even make the squad out of spring training, and here he is leading the league in ERA.
How often do you get to a game?
This year, so we have to kind of wait till Liam's baseball schedule's over with because we can't schedule shit while that's going on between tournaments and everything. So now we'll probably get to between now and the end of the season, probably 5 to 10. And we had season tickets actually the inaugural year of Truist Park, which was SunTrust at the time. But we just once he got heavy into playing baseball, it made no sense for us to keep renewing them because we couldn't make it. But yeah, now we'll definitely. But dude, it's tough. It's a tough ticket now. Like every game, damn near is sold out. So it's like it's a rocking atmosphere. It's fun to be there. So yeah, it's a tough place to play. I mean,
come on, TBS, bring it back, TBS.
Dude, man, I'm telling you. Hey, but Liberty Media, the Braves they're taking offers. By the way,
I could see it. My cousin moved down there from out here in California, and she's now she's been in Tennessee for 8 years, but I guess it's not they go down there for the weekend. They probably have like some semi package. It sounds like it's not the most ridiculous drive from Nashville, but they go down there to the Braves.
Like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So they're a big fan of it. I got a few chats in here. Been a fan since 2001. Well, then my friend me and you have a lot to chat about. Those are my prime years as an A's fan there. 2001, the biggest heartbreak in the 4-year first round exits there. So that's my biggest friend there. We got John, count them out. They are overrated. We got that. Yeah, I got Tyler with the Barry Bonds at leadoff. That would be very interesting. I did see this week, though, by the way, boys, this is the week that Buck Showalter intentionally walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded to give up a run, and then they still ended up winning because who was backing him up? A trivia question, Brett Mabry. He struck out the next after. So Good decision by Buck to intentionally walk him, but that happened this week as well. We got Braves and Rays this year. That's a good call. I guess, John, would that be local? You know that coast a little better than me. Tampa to Atlanta, is that pretty close there?
It's about 7 hours.
That's like from here to LA then. So yeah. That's
Yeah.
not close in my book.
Yeah, no, I mean it's no, I know, man. Like at 7, to me, 7's about the cap on a road trip. I can't do much more than 7 or 8.
Yeah, I did that. I was mentally fatigued driving this.
Mhm.
I was mentally out of it. That Josh, what do you think about the Marlins in that NL East? You think they kind of sneak out at all? They give the Braves it. I mean, they're that team where you're like, oh yeah, it's the Marlins. Like they're not gonna make. You know what I mean? Like
They were
that's why-
talking a bunch of shit coming into this last series. I will tell you that. Those fans were. Not so much
Yeah.
afterwards, but man, they were really talking beforehand.
So obviously the Marlins don't scare you. I'm not thinking of them, but they're the closest team.
They're
I'm
they're
surprised
good.
you didn't say the Phillies.
They're a good squad. No, yeah. I mean, the Phillies. Yeah, well, that's what I say. There's not a team that just like, oh my god, I don't really want to play them. The Phillies out of our divisions probably the one I would worry about, even though the Marlins are in second place.
Yeah.
The Marlins pitching is what's kept them in. They've won so many 1-run games this year, it's ridiculous. But their pitching is what, when Yuri Perez is doing what he's been doing, other than the game they played against us where he didn't make it out of the first inning and didn't record an out. He's really good, so like that was just kind of anomaly, but yeah, I don't think they have the offense to really keep it up, but their pitching is something else. I mean, but yeah, the Phillies still have the bats, solid pitching. So they would worry me a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we're 8-1 against the Marlins this year. So
you're not feeling too worried about the Marlins
Yeah.
at all. They do have a good leadoff hitter, apparently.
they do. He's pretty decent, I've heard. Yeah.
This guy's gonna make me cry. Stop bringing up A's stuff. You're gonna make me get emotional or fly. Yeah, this is not. I already did this with these guys a few weeks back. You can't do it again. I did a 35-minute pod, like doing the whole thing on the A's thing. So that was my time there. If they stay in Oakland, then that all went to shambles. Brett Main, thank you, Tyler. That is the that one there. Tyler does ask a question, John. How is the new Atlanta Stadium?
Dude, it's amazing. I don't know if anybody's went to the old Turner Field. But Turner Field used to sit middle of downtown, sort of nothing around it. It wasn't easy to get into. You would be 5 minutes from the stadium, and it would take you an hour to get there because just the winding roads, the backup traffic, tailgating wasn't really fun. There was just nothing to do. So when they moved just north, they're still in the city of Atlanta, but they're in Cobb County, right? So
Yeah.
it's they made the Battery, which is restaurants, bars, shops, you name it. So apartments, they have hotels there. You can come just hang out there all day long, and they have a huge. You can watch the game outside the stadium on this gigantic screen in this field. Families can come there and chill, watch, and then the park itself. I mean, it's just. There's not a bad seat, man. There's there's really not a bad seat in the entire park, and it's a great atmosphere, man. Like when things are going well, I mean, it's just since we moved, even the 17 wasn't a great year. I mean, when they opened the park, but it was packed, and I mean they moved to where a lot of their fans are, so it's just easier. It's easier transit for most of the fans. It's 25 minutes for me to get to the stadium, so it's easy for me to get there. When they do the pitchers, like with the opposing team does a late inning pitcher change. If y'all seen it, they turn the lights off and then the chop starts and everybody turns their lights on with on the phone. It's wild, dude. You've got
they
like
still
30.
Do the thing with the guy running around the outfield too.
Yeah, the freeze. Yeah, they got and they have the Home Depot tools race, which is kind of like the Nats have their the president's race or whatever. So same deal, but no, it's a great time, man. You go there and they did an awesome job with it. It's light years different than how the old stadium was for sure.
Well, I remember the Braves stadium for the old the tall fences. Otis Nixon trying to rob old tall home runs there at the old days there. Florida Marlins jerseys. They played against those in the days. Those were some funky uniforms back in the day there. Jeff Conine there. Yeah, you guys it was a big stadium because obviously you guys played football there as well. So.
Yeah, there's Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, which is when I first started watching the Braves, and they blew that up, and then they built Turner Field for the Olympics. So it was retrofitted for baseball. It wasn't designed to be a baseball stadium. So like it was just not it just sucked. It was not and it was not a hitter's park at all. I mean, it was more of a pitcher's park, but it was not fun to go to. I mean, we still went to a bunch of games, but it was like you get there, as early as you could because of traffic, and then you immediately left afterwards. Like it was just, there was nothing like drawing you in other than just going to watch the game, So.
Josh, when you think Braves baseball, is there a play that stands out to you? Just curious.
There's too many for it to be.
Is there one though? because for me, it's the guy that against the Pirates in '93, whatever that.
When Sid slid?
The Sid slid. That's the one that stands out to me the most in the positive end of the Braves on that World Series part of it. I know you guys beat the Indians, obviously, in that World Series too, but there's not like a moment that stands out to me from that World Series other than Jose Mesa blowing the World Series against you guys in that one inning. But is there a Braves moment, Josh? I was trying to think about that. Is there one that stands out to you? I remember them being no hit. That was a perfect game.
Me too. Freaking Randy Johnson's big ass. Yeah.
Randy Johnson was something else.
Yeah.
Man, I just remember so many gems being pitched by Glavine and Maddox. I mean, for me right there, that's enough. Chipper Jones had so many great plays. Andrew Jones, one of the most underrated outfielders ever, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Like you guys were talking about earlier, TBS was national. I was in Northern Indiana, and I had WGN and I had TBS, and I was a Cardinals fan. I was screwed. So I watched more Braves baseball than I did Cubs baseball, typically.
Who was the shortstop, Josh, that I can't think of? He was like really good at shortstop for them. It wasn't Blauser. I know Jeff Blauser was he was. I can't think. It was like.
We had Rafael Furcal.
It was
before Furcal. It was in that Jeff Blauser era. I want to say he wasn't Mexican. I think I want to say he was like, but he couldn't hit it all. But Bobby Cox and all.
Rafael Furcal? No. I mean Rafael Belliard.
That is Belliard what it was. He was like really skinny guy.
Oh, that was Belliard. Yeah, he couldn't hit with a shit, but he was fast and he could play some defense.
That's the guy.
That's about it. Yeah.
And then I'd be like, how are the Braves winning with this guy? He's hitting 200 for God.
And dude, and you talk about like old school. I mean, like at that point, I'm trying to think who it was. Go ahead. I'll think of his name in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I could think of it. But Josh, I was basically saying it was funny to me that this guy, I would think of him because the Braves would win all these games. They'd have this guy hitting like 203 at shortstop. Like, how the hell is this possible over there? I got to say Chipper Jones is the guy that stands out to me. I know Tyler growing up with him. That was his main man.
Oh, that was my guy. Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. and Chipper Jones were my two favorite players growing up by far and away. Yeah.
Yeah, Chipper was a stud.
And this was that thing. I think you saw it, Darren, on Twitter. Maddox threw 109 complete games in his career. 26 of those games were done in under 100 pitches.
Stupid.
Just insane.
It's just it will not happen again. Like those are like one of those things that you can confidently say. If it does, it's a freak that comes along the way. It's just not going to happen. It's like that one I did. Say that, Josh. Go ahead.
It's never going to happen because of analytics. It'll never happen.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Unless it's a guy going out there and throwing complete games in 69 or 80 pitches every time he goes out there. That's the only way.
If Tyler's on here, he says, I'm saying, like, okay, in sports, you hear this in everything, right? Oh, well, the athletes are getting better. Like, no, that's what happens. Like, that's what happens. They get better and better. I feel like starting pitching is the one position where, like, I guess human beings, literally their shoulders have gotten worse over time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, it's like, how the hell can Vida Blue in 1971 throw 28 complete games and we can't? Like, I just don't understand the logic. And he still played 14. Yeah, I just don't get it, John.
We could have an entire show on pitchers' arms easily, and Leo Mazzoni, who was a pitching coach from the Braves for that whole run, we had in the 90s, and he used to be on the radio here in Atlanta. He talked about it all the time, man. The specialization and the overuse from starting off from an early age is what's killed arms now, because like he said, they're not throwing enough now.
No.
Like, and I see it now, like you'll see even my kid's 13, right? You'll have kids that come and they pitch maybe twice, maybe 3 times a week, but they're going max effort every time. And that's it. They don't throw in between those starts, or they don't throw in between those things. So you're like just literally just play and toss, like the arm. So you're going out there and you're just like killing your arm 2 or 3 times a week, and then you're not going, maybe they're not doing some of the arm care or stuff like that they should be doing. So yeah, that's what's gotten, and they're playing year round, like we play travel ball, so it's year round, but we have we do 4 tournaments in the fall, and that's it. And then
how can Vida Blue in 1971 throw 3 and then 2023 the human species right shoulders has gotten worse. I'm sorry, that's not possible happening.
Yeah.
And Logan, get your ass here earlier. We talked about this guy earlier. Joined the show earlier on the chat. That's what happened with it. We will see you on the Fat Boy Fadeaway next week. It's been a long time, it's been 3 years in the waiting, so I'm interested to roast. I look forward to roasting your candy. You know what? Next Sunday.
You're having him on Fat Boy Fadeaway?
The tradition will end. It's going to be a curse that will be ended, and I look forward to roasting him about a lot of. We'll probably talk a little Yadier Molina there as well for you, Josh, as well. So he'll be on there. Our guy Flea Market. There will never be a Greg Maddux. That is absolutely the case. There will never be a Greg Maddux again. I don't even know right now if there's any, like, when I think of all the great pitchers in the league right now, it's hard to think of somebody right off the bat that throws like 95 like who's going to work even like that. It's hard to even think of somebody off the top of your head. Like even a guy like Garrett Cole, you're like, oh, he's dominant, but he's like, if he's striking out, he's going to get you 6 innings. So it's hard to think of a guy that goes 9 innings like that. Having a lot of fun here. Appreciate everybody commenting on the chat. Just making it, enjoy it. It's keeping it going here. We have an A's guy in 2001. Like I said, tears being shed here at the moment. It's an emotional day for me. I love it. 7th inning stretch. Appreciate it. Question of the week here, gentlemen. Let's kind of, before we get to the last 2 divisions we haven't talked about, who's going to win this home run derby this year? Before I get to the trivia questions about home run derby, who's going to win it this year? We got the matchups this year. We got a lot of intriguing ones as well. We got Alonso going back again against Rodriguez. We got Roberts against Rutschman. We got Alonso against Rodriguez. We got Betts versus Guerrero Jr. John, are you a home run derby guy? Back. Or are you, an AD? Who do you think might win this thing this year?
100% a home run derby guy. Yeah. I got to go Alonso, man. The dude lives for this moment, apparently, every year. I mean, like he let the music, he gets pumped up, he gets jacked, and he just starts letting them rip. So until somebody dethrones him, I guess. I'll go Alonso.
Alonso. It's funny with Alonso and Rodriguez because they met in the championship last year. They battled out. This year, I find it interesting because it's in Seattle.
Yeah.
Right? Rodriguez will have the kind of the home crowd behind him a little bit. Robert, I find, is kind of interesting. He's the #1 seed for the White Sox. I'm taking him in the home run derby to win it. I feel like he just has a home run swing like none other. The Betts Guerrero Jr. matchup, I'm a little intrigued too when we go home run derby there. Josh, you got kind of a guy you'll be maybe pulling for in this?
That's actually where I'm going because I'm going with Vladimir Guerrero.
All right, I like that.
I like it.
I think he's getting disrespected.
Did his dad ever win it? I got to look that up.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I remember he was in it a few times. That would be. It'd
Well,
be
I
awesome.
think
The best bad ball hitter I've ever seen in my life.
if he can win the home run derby, I think that's a jolt for Toronto.
Yeah.
In the second half, because he's gonna feel some swag. The rest of that team's gonna feel some swag, and I think it'll work because they're a very young team.
Logan here. I figured you guys did. I just wanted to remind the old man on the panel that I hate this take on it, and I haven't even heard his.
Except you'd probably be perfectly fine with my take on that one.
I'm assuming you're the old man, Josh, in that because
I'm pretty sure
I'm in my prime right now, so that can't be me that I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure I have more gray hairs than both of you guys, so I'm not sure. I may have the age lead on this one. I don't know.
Logan just needs to go back and watch the episode now so he can eat crow and then come on here and apologize.
He's probably 20 minutes behind. That's why I'm getting the quotes. Hey, let me go trivia time with you guys here with it. That's why the home run derby.
Time to suck. Let's do it.
So let's go a little trivia time here with you. Let's start with this one. Who has the most home runs in All-Star game history?
Wow.
John, you want to give us a guess here?
Junior.
Junior, nope, that would not be the case. Josh, you want to give us a shot there?
Bonds.
Josh seems more relaxed since Logan hasn't been on just a time.
This is very true, Tyler.
I'm pretty sure
much more relaxed.
But a recliner helps that out so much, though. Like a man's in the recliner, he's gonna be relaxed.
Do you remember what my setup was before we bought the house?
No.
I sat in the kitchen in an old wooden chair.
Oh shit!
With 2 feet of space in front of the wall, and you could see the laundry room behind me.
Hey, Tyler is bringing up a good fact
here.
This
is much better.
He's calling both you out. Have you watched Fat Boy Fadeaway this week? Because I did ask this on the podcast. So if you were a fan of the show, you did see this question on the podcast. I'm sure Tyler does it. Who
You
has?
didn't have it posted on Twitter though, because I would have seen
I
it.
did
there.
not post it on Twitter, Josh. You got to earn it. You got to watch. You got to be a subscriber, damn it. You got to watch the show.
I am a subscriber. I just don't get to watch them.
I don't care about your baby. You have to watch the show. No, just kidding. All right, who do you got winning the? Who do you got with the most home runs? You're gonna be surprised by it. Let's put it that way.
I said Bonds.
Okay, no, he played for the Cardinals. Damn it.
Is it Albert?
Stan the man. Stan the man.
Wow.
He's got 5. He's the most there with the home runs on there with it. He's got the most home runs. Tried to throw it out there for Josh. Tried to throw a little help him out there a little with it. So,
My fault.
Who's got the most All-Star games ever? Who's played in the most All-Star games ever? And do you know the number of All-Star games this person has played in? Josh, I see you have you're yawning, but no, what do you got there?
I'm not yawning. I'm thinking.
I know.
Is the record 16 appearances?
It is not. It is 24.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
24.
Who played that many years?
Exactly.
Tyler says Hank. It's not 25, Hank. It's actually 24. It's not Hank. It's not Ricky Henderson. Back in the day, they used to play 2 All-Star games a season. So that's how this guy up to 24. I'll give you a clue. He is still living. He's, to me, the greatest living ball player of all time. It's not even close. Played for the Giants. That should give it away.
Oh, Bonds?
Willie
I already
Mays.
said.
Willie Mays? Oh, okay.
Oh, Willie Mays.
There we
Willie
go.
Mays.
Yeah.
Yep. That's who it is. Willie Mays has played the most. 24. That's insane to me. He's been in the league since 1950. Yeah, like I'm saying, he played for the New York Giants. Then he played for the Mets all the way to the 1974. So 24 All-Star appearances. Insane. Who won the home run derby this year? It's in Seattle again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 2001, it's gonna be tough. Use your brain. 2001. Who might be the home run hitters back in 2001? Who won the home run derby in Seattle in 2001? I'll give you a clue. It was a National League player.
So it's Bonds or Sosa or McGuire.
Sosa was in the championship. He did not win it.
You said National League, so not Rafael Palmeiro, not Jose Canseco.
No.
Because Canseco was already gone by 0-1.
No, because Jose was doing the Las Vegas home run derbies by then.
2001.
It's
Not Griffey. Not Griffey.
Oh,
No, that was.
it's not A-Rod.
Nope, not A-Rod.
A National League guy.
The National League guy, I'll give you a clue. He did win a World Series that same year. I believe he won it. I believe he got the game-winning hit.
Gonzalez.
Yes, there he is. Luis
Nice job.
Gonzalez. He beat Mr. Sosa 6-2. My guy at A's, Jason Giambi, at the time set the record with 14 home runs in a round that year. So the 2001 All-Star game is always a big one for me in Seattle as well.
He's a pesky hitter too, man. He
was a good hitter as well, Luis Gonzalez. I heard him on a interview recently. He said his goal was to always make contact, and he never struck out more than 100 times. So he said that was his goal. So he was the home run there. I got a couple more for you here. Who was the only guy to hit an inside the park home run in an All-Star game?
Ichiro Suzuki.
Josh, you would be correct there. Do you know where he did it at? For bonus points, do you know where he did it at?
Not a clue. Chicago.
All right, that's only half points then. Not very good. That's good. John, you want to take a bet? I'll give you a clue. I live near it.
Oakland.
The Oakland
San Francisco.
Game, my God.
No, you're right. No, that's stupid. Yeah, San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah,
2007, Ichiro led off the game with an inside the park home run. Like I always say, this the greatest circle I've ever seen ran. Nobody has run a circle better than Ichiro did that day. I show it to my baseball players every year. This is how you run the bases. Kids run the bases. All right, last one I got for you trivia here. Okay, there was an All-Star game, very famous one that resulted in a tie with Bud Selig as the commissioner. Where was this ball game played at? What park was it played at? John, do you remember?
No.
Josh, do you remember where this game
I should.
proceeded to be played
'Cause I
at?
remember
And
the
if you do
damn
know the
game.
managers, I'll give you just to let you know the era was Joe Torre, and it was for some reason I can't remember. Tyler, help me out if you're listening. He was the Giants catcher. I think he was the manager for the Diamondbacks. He did win the World Series, but for some reason the name is escaping me at the time right now. He beat he was a catcher for the Giants. For some reason I can't remember his name, but he won the World Series against the Yankees with the Diamondbacks. Those were the managers in the game that year. Do you remember where it was played at? Bud Selig was the commissioner. He was, just to even help you more, he was the owner of this team.
Oh, Milwaukee?
Milwaukee at Miller Park. It was where we had the famous one, Torrey Hunter, Rob Barry Bonds. There it is. Bentley. Thank you. That's the manager.
Bob Brentley. Yeah.
Bob Brentley. He was the one there. Milwaukee, great call there. Floppy disk. You're right on it. That's where it was. Torrey Hunter and Tyler. He was all over it. Bonds robs him. Obviously, very personal to him in most of that area. Back to what Flea Market said about the Yankees in that 2001 World Series. I was not rooting for the Yankees though because they freaking beat my A's that year. I was not rooting for them. It was hard though because of 9/11, but I was not rooting. That was the year Jeter did the, you know what? Slide Giambi, slide at home plate, you son of a, you know what?
I got one for you guys. What year was the first All-Star game played?
I'm gonna say 1927.
Josh?
I'm gonna say 22.
It was this day in 1933 at Comiskey Park.
So I knew it was a repetitive number for the year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it wouldn't have been during the Great Depression. It had to be 22.
No, 33. And the tickets were $1.10.
Unbelievable.
How about it?
I have a ticket behind me on this wall. Like nobody would even know this, but I have random tickets of every game, like random games I've been to, and I have one from 1992 when I went to the Mariners Stadium back in the day. $2.50.
Wow.
1990 Cecil Fielder versus the Mariners. Detroit was there. Kevin Mitchell were playing for the Mariners back in the day there. That's how long it was. Exactly. Jeremy Giambi, slide at home plate. We might have a different discussion. Flea Market, like I told you,
Dude, you're gonna get Darren very angry.
We lost in the first round, man. You're gonna crush my soul.
Darren very angry.
He's gonna crush my soul.
It's funny when Darren gets angry, though.
It is funny when I'm angry because I'm a bad angry person. Those are my trivia questions with it this week, and I thought it was kind of funny looking back at some of those this week especially with it in Seattle. I thought Seattle was doing a cool thing this year for the All-Star game, John. They're gonna bring back. They have, what was it? I think they had a record. Maybe it was 7, but I think it was 9 All-Stars from the 2001 team that won 116 games. I saw something funny that your Braves would have to go 58 and 18 to tie the record. I mean, 116 wins. How good that team. And they had a lot of random players on that team. They had Dan Wilson that made the All-Star team. They had John Olerud. Yeah, you had your Ichiros. You had your Edgar Martinez, but you also had your Mike Camerons. You had your other random players on that team. So it's kind of cool to me. It's back on the team. For me, the A's were the wild card of that team. They were battling with the Mariners back then. So I always think about those Mariners teams back then with 2001. So it's kind of funny to me. It's back in the history. And it'll be kind of cool to me to see those guys back, especially Ichiro kind of back, because I feel like he's not underrated, but I feel like as time will go on, if he would have played this whole league in the major leagues, I really feel confident he would have beat Pete Rose's hit record.
I would probably say, yeah. Yeah.
I just feel confident that was. So, and Seattle used to be one of the biggest rivals. I always forget the freaking closer's name, but he was a Japanese closer at the time. He was pretty good there as well. Guys, let's go from question of the week here, brought to you by Row One Brand 2. What do we got with the NL West? We talked a little bit. Convince me that the Dodgers won't win the NL West. I mean, the Braves are ahead. The Giants are right there with them, pushing them on every limit possible. John, is there a world where I still feel like the Dodgers are winning this? I always say, you have Mookie Betts, and then you have Frederick Freeman batting second. That's as good as you freaking get. And then you have the slap master himself, Will Smith, batting third, who I think is one of the most underrated catchers of all time. I just feel to me, that's just an underrated 1, 2, 3. Convince me that another team's going to win it.
I just think Arizona, man. I think they've got the pitching to compete with Los Angeles, especially with some of the injuries that they've had. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if LA has that mojo this year that they've had. I think something's a little off this year in LA. And I don't know if I can convince you because they're like you said, Mookie and Freddie's tough. It's a tough 1-2 to not.
Try to convince yourself. Try to get you to convince yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Because it's kind of personal. But but no,
I guess what the question boils down to is can the D-backs or Giants surpass the Dodgers in this division that they've been quite dominant in over the decade? That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants. I think the Giants may come back down to earth a little bit. But they're 3 games out.
They're 3 back.
LA's 1.5 out.
Back of Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just after seeing Arizona playing them, and I think, like I said, I think they're a legit contender this year. If they, like I said, put it together. They don't. They're not like Tampa Bay, but they're kind of similar to Tampa Bay, where they don't have like just a dominant star that goes just out there and just like rakes every time. Corbin Carroll obviously is having a ridiculous season as a rookie, but
that's what concerns me, to be honest with you.
He's a rookie, and just like
no
no stars. Yeah, I get it, and that's that may be the only argument is that LA's just got that name value pretty much everywhere you look in the lineup for the most part. But I don't know. They're pitching. LA's pitching still.
It's iffy right now.
It's a little iffy. Yeah, still a little iffy. So I don't know. Like I'm not totally sold on it.
Josh,
this isn't personal. I don't know.
Josh, the Giants. Tyler, help me out here. The Giants are all over. And Patrick Bailey brought him up an hour ago in the podcast. Wrong guy brought up. Maybe we'll bring him up again. I feel like the injuries have helped the Giants. I feel like they have brought up these young guys that's helped them actually get better in this scenario. I still question their pitching mightily going forward. I've questioned the D-backs as well on this podcast as well. Convince me one of those teams are beating the Dodgers.
So I think the D-backs have the best chance, but I want to go back to the Giants for just a moment. This is one of the best examples of addition by subtraction. That's what has happened with the Giants, and or at least that's my opinion of what has happened, and it's working for them right now.
Yeah.
Can they carry on the rest of the season? I don't know if it's there. They've got one really, really good pitcher, Webb, and then they got other pitchers that are good at times and not good at other times. So the Giants, I think the Giants could make the playoffs, depending on what else happens in the NL. I think the NL wild card is going to be a lot of fun to watch in the last week of the season, because I think it's going to be. I don't think 10 days before the end of the season we're going to know who those 3 teams are going to be. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 teams eligible for those 3 spots, and it may come down to the last 2 days of the season. I think Arizona's got the better chance to take the Dodgers out, or at least win the division over the Dodgers, because they're rolling, they're feeling it. They've got the mojo right now. I think they're a year ahead of schedule from what I really thought they were going to be. I said they'd make the playoffs this year. I really thought next year they would probably grab another pitcher, grab another bat to put in the lineup to help back up Corbin Carroll. But they're playing really, really well. I don't think they're World Series quality, but I could see
them. You've been on them all year, though. To your credit, you've been all D-back. I've been trying to convince you otherwise every show I've been on with you, but it seems like they're right there, man.
The thing with LA is they have all that name power, they have all that experience. They could get hot and go on they could win 22 out of 30, and Arizona may only win 17 out of those 30, and all of a sudden we have a flip in the standings.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's a close enough division, so yeah, could LA do it? Absolutely. I don't think there's any lock in that division right now. I think it is Arizona or LA. I don't think San Francisco can keep it up, but I'm still leaning towards Arizona.
We got a guy here, Flea Market, Floppy Disk. Both Dodgers and D-backs have 7 hitters above average OPS. Yeah, they're both playing very well. I got a guy, Brandon, here. I'm assuming at Variety Sports Network, 3 away from 300 here.
Nice.
Of course, join us here on Variety Sports Network, 7th inning stretch. We're here live, usually every Thursday here, talking baseball with you guys. That's really cool. We're 3 away from 300. Appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel here. Got we're kind of down to the end here, boys. We've had a good podcast, good show. We're working on the hour 15-minute mark here. Okay, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's old right here with Clint Eastwood, right? The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I was watching it the other day. Made me think, this would be a good end of the year, first half, kind of a good breakdown of the divisions, whatever we want, announcers, anything you think of baseball-wise. A good way to end the show here before we get to the home run derby here. First half of the season concludes. We'll go good, bad, and ugly. John, do you have? Let's start with you. You got a good. You got a good here for the.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be a complete homer and say the good with Orlando Arcia taking over the shortstop job and just like killing it after Dansby Swanson left and everybody freaked out. And the dude's just makes his first All-Star game and
that's because Braves fans stuff the ballot is.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But I mean, he's had a great season. But I mean, yeah. I mean, our entire infield made it, which is wow. But
I saw that was a cool quote because Ron Washington obviously. He said that he like cried or something when he saw that all those guys made the infield. So always a Ron Washington guy out here in the Bears. So yeah,
dude, they every day before the game they're putting in work, man. They're out there doing their infield every single day. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just I'll be a homer guy and go with that. I will say though, and I'm not. I mean, I hate the freaking Marlins, but like that's a good story, man. The fact nobody in the world expected them to come out of nowhere and be second in this division, and play. I mean, like if we weren't playing our asses off right now, I mean, they're 8.5 games back because we have the best record in the league. But if we were just playing good baseball, not great baseball, we'd probably be right neck and neck with them.
4 games up or something like that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
No, that's a good call there. That's a good call there. Josh, you got a good there for the first half?
I'm going with the good. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles.
Great call.
That's my good for the first half of the season. I think we all kind of knew that they had the potential to be this. I mean, I know a few of us picked them to make the playoffs in our preseason show. So I'm going to give them props. I'm going to give the good prop really to Adley Rutschman. It seems like he is the captain and the leader and the glue of this team. He is playing fantastically behind the plate, at the plate. He really seems like the next great catcher in the MLB, and we're lucky we got a couple really good young catchers that are coming out right now. The rookie catcher out of Texas who made the All-Star game is one that's younger. Sean Murphy's, in my opinion, probably the best catcher in the game right now. So, I mean, there's good catchers coming up, which is nice to see because I enjoy catchers, obviously being a Yachty guy. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore. There's my good.
That's a great call. And they, like I said, when they're at 50-35 right now, maybe today.
51-35, yep.
Yeah, 51 today, so they're 16 games over. I got, there's a lot of different – we talked about the Reds. I feel like they were kind of – we talked about them being a good Giants. We kind of talked a little bit as well. We talked about the D-backs a little bit, too, of course. But I feel like I'd be remiss. We've talked about them before in the other part. I got to go Rangers still, though. I mean, 51 wins at this point. It's hard for me to think like Bruce Bochy coming out as the first coach at 4 All-Star starters. How can I not say they're the good for the first half as well? So I got to go Rangers. Maybe I still believe the Astros will take them over, but for them to say good in the first half, you have 51 wins at the beginning of the year. I wouldn't have thought that. I thought they were actually a year behind, so that's the team I'm going to go with as the good for the first half of the season. John, what do you think for your bad?
Real quick, I know you brought this up already, but did y'all see when this happened? Do you know what he's talking about?
Is he talking about the De La Cruz one?
No. So when Braves were up already on Philly late in the game, and Ozuna hit a home run, and so when they come around third, they all have their different thing with Wash. Like they'll either do like high five, low, whatever. They all do the same whatever thing. So Ozuna has this thing where he does his little handshake or whatever. And the Phillies announcers are like, "Oh, he has to do a little hand dance coming around third. That's just not professional." And it got blown up around here, around Atlanta. But then they started showing like when Reese hit the walk-off last year, slams his bat down. They're loving it. They're going after like, "Oh, this is great." And then dude took like a minute and a half to run around, to all the bases for a home run. They're like, "Oh, nothing wrong with that. That's just great. Like take that." So yeah, it was just funny to see.
That's why I always get a kick out of baseball management. Like even Dave Martinez, he would be pissed if his best player got it. You know what I mean? Like that's how it would be. Like he'd be pissed if his best player, or he would say like, "That's ridiculous." That's the one fun thing about baseball, and I kind of do miss that. And that's why
Yeah.
part of it, I don't want the strike zone to ever go computer. Like
Mhm.
ever. I just feel like it'd be too I agree. I don't want them missing calls, obvious ones at first base too. But my God, there's nothing better than a good Lou Piniella argument at first base that we'd never seen before, stuff like that too. So there is that part of the game that kind of makes it unique that we might miss in that regard. So that's a great call there with the handshake. I did miss that one. With that said, you got a bad though for the first half here, John?
Bad. I will go with I'll say the Mariners, just because I expected a lot out of the Mariners this year. That take yours, Josh?
That's all right. I got another one, but that was what I was going to go with.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I just thought they were going to be like really contending for that division this year, and they haven't. Rodriguez just kind of had a little sophomore slump a little bit, and so just not quite what I expected from them.
I like how he made the All-Star game as the Razors there. I never know what to think about that anymore.
Yeah,
it's like the Pro Bowl. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, like what was the backup for the Ravens made it with 40. Yeah, it's like I feel like the All-Star game is starting to get to that territory a little bit too, where you're like getting these guys, you're like, my God, Rodriguez is a step, but he's not maybe having the best year than Kirby and stuff like that. So that's a good call there with the Mariners. They're in fourth place right now, a game below 500. We talked about the Angels being in a trading spot. Well, they're ahead of the Angels, or they're ahead of the Mariners. So, Josh, that's a good one. What do you think? What do you got for bad of the first half here?
Well, I got to award two teams.
All right.
Matching penalties here. The Mets and the Padres, because
I was going ugly. I was going ugly with Mets.
I got someone else to go with ugly. But these two teams went out and they spent ungodly amounts of money to put together all-star fantasy teams, and it's not working at all. The thing is, they are all-star fantasy teams. All they have to do is put it together, and they're going to be fine, and they could make a run to catch up into their divisions, because they're not. I mean, the Mets are basically out of it, but
they are.
the Padres could still make it, technically speaking.
John, are you still scared of the Mets after hearing that? What Josh said, 18 games out. Are you still scared of the Mets?
No, I mean, not really. No, it's crazy to see that lineup and see those guys and like, why are you so bad? Like we Darren, you and I have talked about it. You can't buy chemistry, man. It's just a different sport, man. I mean, it's a different sport.
Baseball's good. Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just 162 games. I mean, if the locker room chemistry and the clubhouse chemistry isn't good, it ain't going to work, no matter who's on the team.
Yep.
So,
the Mets are a good call. Padres, I had the Padres down as bad. I'm curious as an A's fan previous. I thought Bob Melvin is his job on the line. The Padres have started to play a little bit better, kind of going forward a little bit. I don't think he'll get fired, but I've kind of been wondering about his job as well. So it's a good call on them. I had as bad. I got to throw the White Sox in there as well, only because I thought they might make. I feel like their talent's always better than what they're performing at. Like they're 15 games below 500. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm a big Andrew Vaughn guy. Being out here, he's from my area I grew up on. He's kind of struggling a little bit here. He got off to a good start, but you got Roberts who's in the home run derby. But you got Cease, you got Giolito. I don't know. Like to me, that's just a disappointing season in the AL Central. That's really bad, and you can't really be in the fight at the end of the first half. So to me, that's a really bad first half. And I want to say this about the White Sox as well. I think their owner is literally one of the worst in the league, and it makes me sick that he's still an owner of a franchise. I hate that Reindorf is still the owner of the White Sox. Yeah. If you watch that Bulls documentary, that's gross watching that. Like to think that he's owning your baseball team, like. This guy should not own it. Like, I hate John Fisher. I mean, just because he's moving the A's, I get that. But, like, this guy should not own a baseball team either. Like, you live in Chicago. You're the owner of the Chicago White Sox, and you're telling me Benintendi is the highest contract you've ever given out? I mean, that's a freaking joke. So he should be absolutely canned as an owner. And, like, I don't know. That's a whole different podcast, but, like, he's ugly. I just don't like him. So, White Sox, you get my bad in the first half. And I love you, Andrew Vaughn. You know that. I got to coach you with your little league, so always rooting for you there. All right, ugly John. Give me your ugly here of the first half of Major League Baseball.
All right, so I'm not going to go Mets, even though I want to go Mets, but it's already, we've already kind of said Mets, so it's been ugly. Dude, I love you, Darren, man. Someone go John Fisher.
Thank
He
you.
can kiss everybody's ass, man. If y'all don't know, that's the athletics owner. And I'll go 2 players. And I know I'm going to upset Logan with this one, but Trey Turner, man. What the hell? I mean, come on. And Carlos Correa.
Trey Turner was looked upon as the next god of baseball.
I know.
Yeah.
By
I
some
mean, I'm
people.
glad. Trust me. Like, look, he's in Philly, so I'm glad he's having his. I'm sure he'll come around, but I mean, I think he's like 691 OPS right now, batting about 250. You know, like definitely not Trey Turner type stuff. You know, and Correa just fell off the map. I mean, completely. I don't know if his injuries are like a lot more serious than everybody maybe originally thought, but I don't know. It's been ugly for them.
Man.
The Mets got lucky and avoided that. Let's just put
Big
it that way.
time, big time.
And the Giants.
And the Giants.
And the Giants. Yeah.
It's weird with free agents in baseball, right? Like I always say this about baseball. It's the one sport where like it's just that's why I love it so much. It's so the best player is to me. That's why the stats are so like whenever everybody says like what's stats important, like it's funny how my mind always goes to baseball because like I just feel like baseball stats are so like unique than the other sports in that regard. So like just because like it's so wishy-washy year to year because the game is so hard. Like, I mean, until you actually hit a baseball, that's why like guys like Bonds and all those guys are ridiculous because like you actually had an advantage over a pitcher. It's like that's never happened. So like that's to me why baseball is such a unique sport in that regard. That's a great call there with it. You got it ugly there, Josh?
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah.
It's those damn St. Louis Cardinals. They ugly.
What a
They
shock.
They are UGLY ugly. And let me tell you, their manager's ugly. The GM's ugly. The players are getting screwed. The fans are getting screwed worse. Wilson Contreras is trash with an $87 million contract over 5 years, and he can't do jack squat. He does have a cannon for an arm, though. He hit better in Miami this past series. I'll give the guy that, but I'm done. So, no, how do you take a team that won a division, had legends on it last year? Basically, I mean, they're basically the same team, with the only change really being Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
And Yadier Molina being about from behind the plate and Albert Pujols not being on the bench. How do you go from 90-plus wins to 16 games under 500 in the first half of the season?
Well, your Yadier Molina argument never meant more.
No.
I mean, everybody who's talked trash to me
Man.
about Yadi, in my opinion, on how important a catcher is to the team, to the pitchers. I hate being now.
How about your boy Wainwright, though? He's now off social media. He seems like he should have retired a year. I was thinking of you guys today because I was looking back at a trade. I was looking at, like, if you ever listen, I love old history. I was like, what? The Braves traded Adam Wainwright to the Cardinals? Like, I didn't even know that happened back.
JD freaking Drew.
You did get JD Drew. He did have a great year the first year. I read him off, but they struggled after that. But obviously, the Cardinals got 18 years of Adam Wainwright from. But I thought that was funny. I was like trying to look at. I was like, what? I was like blown away by it. I was like, John's coming on tonight too. What a shock!
Yeah, he's from South Georgia, man. Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. You can't win them all, man.
And he's a fantastic human being.
He is, absolutely.
He's off Twitter though now. He's frustrated with the fans. Get at him.
So he said it wasn't necessarily the fans because he actually came out and talked about this on the radio for like 8 or 9 minutes on ESPN radio. Basically, he said he knew who the real fans were because of the mixed messaging on Twitter and his Facebook. He said he was talking to one of his people, somebody he trusts or whatever. And I said, you just need to reset, man. Get away from it all, get your mind right, and do your thing. Well, that didn't seem to work.
Is Yadier Molina his agent? Did he talk to him about that?
No. Yadi is out doing his thing right now. We don't even know what he's up to. But Waino tried that. He came out for his next start, and then we find out he's been having shoulder issues. So, I mean, I love Waino. I respect Waino. I think he's earned the right to go out on his own terms. I think he missed his mark, and he should have known that Father Time never loses.
Last year,
and he should have gone out with Yachty and Albert. And I think he just wasn't ready to give it up because they
Yeah.
always say if you quit too early, you're going to regret it because you can't go back. And,
No,
it is what it is.
I agree. Here's the actual trade. So the Braves received JD. So it happened on December 13th, 2003. The Braves received JD Drew and Eli Marrero. The Braves hit on the trade initially. JD Drew turned in a career high 305, 31 home runs, 9 RBIs. But the Braves ended up losing to the Astros and NLDS that year, and then he moved on to the Red Sox. The Cardinals received Adam Wainwright, Jason Marquis, and Ray King in the deal. Obviously, Wainwright was the prize there going forward in the deal. One of my
Jason Marquis was very good too.
He was good.
Braves fans were more upset about Jason Marquis at the time.
I remember that.
Nobody knew what we had in the Wainwright.
He was solid for you guys.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Wasn't he? I feel like he was a decent hitter as a pitcher too.
Probably. I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like back then, like you batted
right.
But as a hitter, you were looking.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
Marquis was all right.
I remember him being the good athlete as a pitcher type of deal, right? They would throw at you as the back.
Hey, Waino got a Silver Slugger award.
Sure did, yeah.
We got our guy here, Vandy Chris, doing the college stuff out there. College baseball's over. His Vanderbilt did not win it. I'm sorry, buddy, out there. But we know that he says right here, we know Eli's up to. Don't play games with him. Investigate his bat. He might be tuned in a little bit as well. We are investigating the bat as we go. Ray King, I forgot about him. Was he a lefty?
He's the only one I don't remember out of that trade.
I feel like he was a lefty, like a lefty reliever. Help me out there if you are. I feel like he is there at that.
Ray King. Yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in so long.
Lee Marcus saying yes. Yes.
I think so, yeah.
That's good, Dodger. So you had the ugly there. I got ugly, gentlemen.
Lefty.
Cardinals definitely belong in the good, the bad, and the ugly. They have been absolutely awful. They were in I had them. Josh had it on it, obviously. I also had, of course, Correa. John, you mentioned him though. I said the A's. Can I mention the Orioles or the Royals? You have the same You have the same amount of wins as the A's, and the A's have been talking about as the worst franchise in the history of the world. And you have 25 wins though as well. So Royals, you better wake up, and you might be in that same conversation as well. So they've been really bad as well. And if you're a local here, the A's announcer losing his job for going to the don't go to the museum, right? Use the N-word. Don't use that when you go to the museum. So he ends up that's the ugly of the year as well. He ends up losing his job. Nothing gets worse. You can't lose a job.
So bad.
That's so ugly bad. There with it. Glenn Kuiper is so fun. It's not funny because of that, but it's funny because he's been around here forever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's funny to see that. That
did dude even realize what he said? What's his name?
Glenn Kuiper. I like
No. Dallas Braden. Did Dallas Braden even realize what was just going on? Like,
I like on Twitter how people like freeze frame stuff like Braden's face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like he's probably like, did he say that?
Yeah, no, I'll just keep going. We'll just keep rocking with it. Yeah.
Glenn messed up.
Yeah.
He definitely did mess up, and it cost him his job. He literally has been doing he did Warriors post game in '99. He's been like obviously his brother is a famous announcer for the Giants, Dwayne Kuiper.
Mm-hmm.
And if your sons play MLB or anything like that, you've heard that voice forever. So it is funny there, Dallas Brady with it. So that's my ugly of the year. The A's all together. John, you said John Fisher. Thank you for mentioning him. That whole thing has been whole thing's been ugly this year. We got a guy, Vandy Chris, in here over the weekend. I saw JJ Bleedley doing good things. I must ask again, what were the Marlins thinking again trading him? It was not a good decision to trade him. I'll say that. That was not a good decision. The Marlins have made a lot of bad trades in their history, but they've also made a lot of good ones. I did see the one this week where they traded for Miguel Cabrera. They made a good trade with that one. So they have done some things in the past that would be good. Ray Fosse, A's announcer out here. If you know who he is, catcher. He passed away a few years ago. Yes, rest in peace, Ray Fosse there. Gentlemen, that was our good, bad, and ugly for the week. We talked a lot here this week on seventh inning stretch where we're at an hour and 30 minutes here. I got to, first of all, before we get to that conclusion, I got to thank all the guys commenting in right now tonight on the show. Tyler, our guy here, Flea Market Floppy Disk, thank you very much. First time for me and you engaging. I appreciate you tuning in, giving your thoughts on it.
It's a great name, too. Flea Market Floppy Disk is fantastic.
Yeah, he's good. Vandy Chris.
He's watching. They're like, what the hell's a floppy disk?
Floppy disk.
Exactly.
I know those things. My kids would have no idea in the world what I'm talking about. That. Vandy Chris, obviously basketball college guy there. Appreciate you, Variety Sports Network. Check out their show there. Appreciate you tuning in. My guy Tyler McGurk, obviously appreciate you. Logan, I don't know. We see what you think. And then Tyler, appreciate you tuning in as well, my friend, giving the insight. And then our guy here, I appreciate the show here, 95. Our guy here tunes in the Falcons there all the time. He does a good job on his show. Appreciate him tuning in tonight on 7th inning stretch. John, Josh, we covered a lot tonight, boys. We got All-Star break coming this week. Josh, your final thoughts here before we kind of call it a show here.
Home Run Derby Monday night live stream. Darren will be there.
Yep.
I'll be there.
Yep.
You want to come hang out with us?
Couple minutes.
I can pop in there. I can pop in there.
Fantastic.
We'll be on for 3 freaking hours, man. Come on for 10 minutes.
Look, we did the live draft for NFL this year. Like it was us, and we had some friends of ours, the New Millennium Falcons podcast. So it was like 5 of us, and we did the entire first round of the draft. And it was fun. It was a great time. We had a blast, but it was it's a lot of content you got to fill there, especially after you pick early. You just
I have a lot of trivia questions.
Yeah. So bring your trivia questions for the Home Run Derby. But make sure you guys come on for the Home Run Derby. We're just going to sit around. We're going to chit chat, talk about the Derby, talk about the All-Star game, catch up, and just talk about baseball in general. It's going to be a great opportunity for you guys out there listening to participate. Get in on the in the comment section on YouTube. Darren, I don't know if you've seen it yet, or John, I don't know if you've seen it. We got this new app we're going to be launching. Hopefully, we have more information about it that we can release to you at the Derby. It's a way for you all to interact with us. And shoot us your questions, comments, concerns, talk smack, tell the guys over here how pretty they are, whatever. But make sure on Monday night you guys join us. It's going to be a long show. Pop in and out. You don't got to sit there the whole time. But obviously, that last half hour is going to be the big part of the show.
No, it'll be good stuff. Josh, your channel, you're over at Variety Sports Network, just Birds and Bush, right?
Birds and Bush, and then I guest host from time to time on the Blues Note, which covers the St. Louis Blues for the NHL.
Also on Variety Sport Network. Yeah, I'm over at FatBoyFadio if you want to follow us over there. If not, I'm over here at Variety Sports Network. If you don't, I'm not offended by any way, but I'm over there at FatBoyFadeaway Sports. Got our guy here. I love chatting you all. Maybe we get with you, talk soon. It'd be great to have you on here for the second half of baseball, of course. Draft soon. Do the Pirates go cash saver? The Pirates always go cash saver. What's on the back of my hat? It's Pirates. That's what we're going with on the back there. So the Pirates, that's always the cheap. I always, for some reason, like their logo a little bit better. So I do have a lot of Pirates hats in the collection, folks. So if you see me a backwards hat, good chance it's a Pirates old school hat somewhere along the line. So that's the way to go with it. And we got our guy Ryan, Josh, last week, the Cubs fan. He tuned in last week. We did not talk about your Cubs. I'm sorry about that. They're out of it a little bit. We did rip on Josh, though, and his Cardinals being out of it, though, a little bit. So, John, before we call it a show here, where we can find you guys out, what you guys got going on here over the summer. I know football's kind of in this little graveyard period. It's always content, but July is the one month where it feels like it's a little out of it a little bit. What's going on with you guys? Pleasure to have you join me and Josh on 7th inning stretch.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, we're definitely scraping the barrel this time of year, trying to get content. But now there's always stuff to talk about, man. You can find us at Out of Your Falcon Mind on YouTube, as well as obviously we stream through Variety Sports as well. But yeah, it's Mike and myself, man. We have a lot of fun, man. We talk Falcons. We do some other things. We play some games and just kind of the show goes off the rail 95% of the time. It doesn't. We have a script. We have a show sheet, and the show sheet gets normally tossed away, and the chat gets really active, and we just start going off on who knows what. But it's a fun time, man. It's a good show.
Especially if Mike's on vacation with a drink, right?
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
You saw that? Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, pretty amazing start to the show. I just scrapped the whole first part of the show. I was like, okay, Mike's drunk. He's at a pool, and so Josh was supposed to be moving that. He was supposed to be packing up. That's why I couldn't make the show. And he started packing, and then one of his friends that's a girl came over and was like, hey, let's go to the pool. And he was like, you know what? Let's go to the pool. And then he called into the show like right when the show started. So it was me, and we had two of our buddies from another podcast on the New Millennium Falcons podcast. And yeah, the first 15 minutes is worth a watch for sure. Yeah,
I feel
the
like
whole show, the whole
I
show
feel like
is.
you
But definitely.
wouldn't get away with that. Mike's able to pull that off.
Oh, dude, yeah, Mike
We're
is
not
a
cool enough to pull that off.
Mike's an Atlanta and national treasure. He needs to be protected at all times. Like he's absolutely.
John, real
but,
quick, maybe
yeah.
our boy Ryan here. Quick question. Looks like Falcons for you. He
Yeah,
was
man,
on last week with us on 7th inning stretch.
Yeah,
Ryan,
I saw that. I think did I comment on that one? I think I was. No,
Yeah,
man.
I think you
definitely
you
watched
did
it
leave some
regardless.
comment there for sure.
Yeah.
Quick little Falcons thought here before we get on baseball note here. I know you guys are
We're
starting to believe
at least 10 wins this year.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna look. We had 7 last year with the. I want to say who was playing quarterback, but we'll be just fine this year. We added a lot of talent on defense. We added a lot of talent on
Derek
offense.
Carr. Don't let Derek Carr win the division, please. Don't let Derek. I will never live it down as a Raiders fan. If you let him win the division.
The Falcons Saints rivalry is something else, man. It's pure hate. Like there's no in between. Like it's just pure hate. But I think Desmond will be fine. We've surrounded him with so many weapons. He'll have to try to mess this up to not have a good season. So So I mean we're looking, like I said, we were 3 plays away from 10 wins last year, but yeah, we're getting 10 this year at least, and going to the playoffs either as winning the division, which I think we can, or at least a wild card at the minimum. So, but Braves got to do their business first, So,
Ryan, we appreciate you answering the questions here. Wish I was on longer. It's all right. We don't always start at 8. We kind of have the 6 to 8 start here on Thursdays. We're a little kind of open there, a little on it, but appreciate you kind of commenting here at the end here with it. Josh,
we still got to do the fat boy. We got to do the fat boy out of your fucking mind crossover here while in the offseason.
We have to do that soon. If not, I'll have you on our show. We'll figure something out. We got to do something with it. Josh,
I'm still waiting to get on to talk hockey with him on his own show.
My hockey. Have you seen the Sharks? Have you seen them? Yeah. We drafted Will. Do you know who Will Smith is?
Yeah, Will Smith is the bomb.com, bro.
We're trying to get a team back here in Atlanta, man.
He's going to be awesome.
Josh, you'll be the new Logan with my show. It's going to take you about 3 years to get on, but we'll build up.
That's all right. As long as I'm on the list.
That'll be our running joke with it there at that point. Josh, you got to listen. He's got the Blues podcast, my friend Ryan. He's got the Blues podcast. He always talks it. He even had the PA announcer on about a year ago. That was fun to have them on with it.
That was Brandon. That was all Brandon Moore. I did not arrange that. Brandon Moore is the lead host on that show.
But that was fun.
Highly intelligent. He gets great guests.
He
got us Randy Carricker, dude.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
great. I mean,
I remember that.
An announcer like that on. That's awesome. Gentlemen, that kind of concludes our 7th inning stretch show for tonight. I thought it was a real good fun pod. We talked about a lot of stuff. Again, appreciate all the guys that commented in, from Ryan to Tyler to 95 Falcons Sports to Floppy Discount to everything. We appreciate you guys tuning in, making the show fun like that. Gentlemen, John, I hope we can do it again here soon. Your Falcons or your Braves should be in this thing come the second half. So I look forward to having you on 7th inning stretch here again. Josh, Monday night. I'll see you there.
Yeah,
Monday. I'll see you on Monday.
Y'all will be there. We'll get it out to everybody.
All right. We'll see you there. Boys, till then, peace.
See you.